Hello and welcome to the channel. And for today's video, we are just doing a quick follow-up on the Teela from the Masterverse Revelation line, the Teela with her classic look. And let's see and play a game of spot the difference. Can you tell what is different from the other? Okay, that's enough time. Obviously, in the previous video, I had mentioned a few things that I was going to do on the figure, as far as just quick fixes and or customizing aspects. And one of the first things that I mentioned was the issue regarding the gap on the thigh. It's still a little visible. As you can see, the thigh gap, I did what I could to fix it. I separated the joint at the thigh. I actually, part of the mushroom peg, the tip of the mushroom peg, I chopped it off just a little bit, not completely. And then also at the top of the, where the thigh connects with the hip, this part right here. I also, on the inside of the thigh, I drilled a little bit deeper so that the plug on the from the hip, once it goes into the thigh, it would also go a little bit deeper. But I guess I didn't do a deep enough job, because the if you compare to on the her left leg, it's a little more tight than on the right. Right, you can still see a gappage, so I need to keep reworking on that. But as far as what are the differences, well, another thing that I mentioned was I was going to do some swapping of heads and hair. So on the left we have the stock Teela, and on the right we have the customized Teela. So what I did is, as I had mentioned, on the figure, on the head sculpt, with the hair that is pulled up and with the tiara, I gave her the face of the original version that comes with the loose hair, the angry face. And then for her, and then what I did is the vice versa on the version with the serene look. I gave her the version with well, as you can see, it's still not completely done, because I did want to show you guys what's going on. So this is the normal looking face that would normally be on this hairdo. So I swapped it out with the hair that is loose. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this to focus. There we go. So a few things to mention. Let's get this Teela here. So for this figure, the head sculpt on this one, which is the regular Teela face, you could say, the head sculpt had a funny shape in the back, almost like a cone shape, in order to fill out everything that is on the inside portion of the bun of her do. So it was the skull on the back was elongated to fill in everything that's in there. The head sculpt for this hairdo, the loose hair, doesn't have that elongated back end of the skull. And let me just remove this. But her forehead, excuse me, that's what it's called, Eric. The front of her forehead was a little more square shaped in order to fill in this her hair when it is let down. So you can see it almost has more of a square shaped front, right? The regular normal head, it had a more oval shaped forehead, right, to accommodate the bun. So what I ended up having to do was, reshape the front, her forehead for this head, and then on this one, just remove a lot of plastic on the back of her head, right? So in order to get this hair to accommodate the loose hair, because there isn't that, the shape of course, it's not the same. Since the hairdo, the bun goes upwards, right? This stays flat on the back. So I had to do that fix in order to get the head to fit on the hair. Okay. So there's that. And on this version, and there she goes. And for this version, I just did some cleanup on the back because of the glue from the head sticking to the head, and of course reshaping the front here, the forehead, to a little more oval shape in order to accommodate this hairpiece. All right. So the hairpiece, I should probably show you something else that I did, and I'll talk about this later. But that's a nice hair. The thing about trying to figure out how to get the right hairline on the figure is pretty simple. Since on the back you see this residue from the glue, it rests right here on the back of her head. So and there's also like some spots where you can figure out where the ears go, right behind there. So the ears have a little gap where they fit in, and you can get an idea of how far the hairline should go from how it rests on the back. And then on the front, you can just give it, a lower hairline or a higher hairline. Personally, I think something like this looks the best. Right, and then once I'm gonna glue this together, the tiara is gonna stick closer to her cheeks, so it should look something like this. And also another thing that I did on the figure that I mentioned that I was gonna do was modify her eyebrows. Let's bring in this one. Okay, so let's compare. These are the same heads, right? And you can see how I modified the eyebrows on this one, because I mentioned that the furrow brow wasn't too expressive for me. So I ended up having to repaint the eyebrows. And I think, for the most part, I think it came out okay. I used the same color that I used to repaint the Scarlet Classified series, the color that I used to repaint her hair. So I think this came out okay. Um, so yeah, all the only thing that is missing on these guys is just gluing down the hair. But I just wanted to do this recording before I did the gluing, just to show you guys all the work that is needed. And also, let me bring in the figure, because I also did some modifying on the figure. So the neck joint, let's bring in the stock figure for comparison. Excuse me. So on the left we have the stock, on the right we have the modified. The range of the neck of the stock figure is nearly non-existent. It barely moves front and back, right? So what I did is, using my Dremel tool, let me see, yes, using this bit, just slowly drilling down into the neck without trying to nick the neck peg and damage it. So front and back. And now we have full, well, not full, but greater range back and forth. So you can see how far that U shape that I cut, it accommodates the peg, right? And when it comes to sticking the head sculpt and how it works with the head sculpt, right? You can see how much she can look up and down compared to the stock figure. And how that range is virtually non-existent. Right? So she's got greater range now, back and forth. And let me just try on the version with the long hair. This is the one that's glued down, yes. So this is the stock head. And again, you can see how much more movement you get from the head. This is going down, right? And just shifting on the peg itself, not, I'm sorry, on the ball joint. Right? And if we go back to the stock figure, you almost get nothing, right? So there's that change that I did right here. It does get a little loose, not floppy loose, but it does get loose. So what I did is just drop some nail polish down in there to get a little more thickness in like the surrounding walls of the neck, so that the peg has a little more resistance going front and backwards. So it you see, it's not completely loose, right? So it's not floppy, so there is some resistance. But once you do this, I guess there's like something like well, I don't know what was there. I had like some there's like a little bit of a piece of plastic flash right there. You can see it right there on the inside of the neck, right where I'm pointing with my fingernail, right? It's on both sides actually. So what I did is just fit my I used a where is it? I didn't use a file. I didn't use this file because it doesn't fit in there. I just used my where did I put it? My X-Acto knife. I just used an X-Acto knife with there it is. I just used an X-Acto knife with this flat blunt edge to well, that's not blunt. I mean it's sharp, but it's flat, and then I just went in on the like the corner, and you know, slowly chiseled that off. So that was like separating the two parts of the neck. Sorry. So that was like separating the plastic. Every time I would move the joint back and forth, it would split the two halves here. So that's why I removed that little bit of extra flash on the inside. So yeah, next step for these gals is I'm going to do the planned repaint. I'm thinking of what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to remove the that gold on her sides here and make the costume all white, which is well, I mean not all white, but I mean white. Just see if I can remove all of the paint, strip the paint off, and leave the white plastic, because that's how the costume originally is. Uh, um, as far as like the cartoon and the original cartoon and the action figure, her costume was all white with gold highlights. And also, if you look at the promo shots of the figure, I don't even know. Let's see. Yes, there's even some. You can see the color on her chest and her crest and all of that. It's almost like a copper color compared to this mustard gold that they used. Right, so you just compare the two. You can see that there's a difference in the paints that they used. It could be just that this is more in a shadow, but clearly even if I put this in a shadow, it's not gonna turn this color. So they obviously the test shot, the test figure had a different color scheme. So I'm gonna try and mimic this color, a darker gold, and also on her like chest, this part right here is also darker compared to what's on the figure, right? So I'm just gonna try and you know, uh, duplicate her look from the show. Darker golds on these areas right here, and but I'm probably gonna repaint this white, all of this. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Again, just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the custom on this Teela. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll check you guys out in the next one.